Good morning. Namaste to each of you. Thank you for joining me this morning to honor your mind and your body and your spirit. Let's just take a moment to become present. Find a nice, comfortable seated position where you can sit with your spine and back of your neck nice and long and tall, opening up your chest, opening up your diaphragm, and opening up your heart. If you would kindly, gently close your eyes and soften your thoughts. Soften your eyes. Soften your shoulders. And soften your heart. Observe your breath as it is, soft and gentle. Breathing life into you with each inhale and relaxation with each exhale. Feel the grace of being present, returning to that awareness again and again. You may open your eyes now. For this morning's intention, you may think of a positive word or phrase to have with you on your mat and perhaps carry with you throughout the day. This morning's intention I'd like to talk about is the second limb of the 8 limbs of yoga, and those are the Niyamas. And the Niyamas are guidelines in how to interact with yourself. There's 5 Niyamas. The first one is Sacha. Sacha is Sanskrit for cleanliness, purity, and clarity. Basically, Sacha means removing stuff to come to the essence of something. You could just think of that, and all those cleanliness, purity, and clarity stuff falls into that basket. Removing stuff to come to the essence of something. Perhaps that means cleaning out closets, or perhaps an Ayurvedic cleanse, or maybe just not eating processed foods, cleaning up your diet, just having real foods like Michael Pollan used to advocate or still does advocate. Maybe it's being clear about what no longer serves you, cleaning out old ideas, bad habits. Sacha always begins with the intention to lighten the load we are carrying in our mind, in our body, and in our spirit. So for the pranayama this morning, there's one that's called Nodi Shodhana, and the English translation is alternate nostril breathing, but the Sanskrit meaning for that is cleaning the channels of circulation. And nadis are the energy channels that are within you, and if you are familiar with chakra system, your chakra system sits along the Nodi energy channels. The Nodi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing, helps clear out both channels. There's a left one and a right one. This breathing technique that I've spoken about many a time is really a wonderful breathing technique today we're using it to clear the channels, but there's, in fact, I was Googling about it the other day, and WebMD has a huge article about it. It's used a lot and in professions and in the medical system. It's not specific for yoga. It's one of the great calmers of stress and anxiety, even for panic attacks. So to do that, Nodi Shodhana, we use a mudra, a specific mudra, and it's called Vishnu mudra. And it's, if you put your hand up and bend down your index or your middle finger, leaving the other three extended, that's the Vishnu mudra. And this mudra in itself helps to detoxify the body. So I think they both work together to clear out the channels of the circulation. So to do that, we are going to place our thumb on our right nostril and inhale through the left. And when you reach the top of the inhale, you're going to take your ring finger and close the left nostril and exhale through the right nostril. Keep your finger where it is and then inhale through the right nostril. And when you reach the top of the inhale, you're going to close off the right nostril with your thumb. So you're kind of flippering between your thumb and your ring finger. So right nostril, reach the top, close with your thumb, exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Reaching the top, you're going to close it with your ring finger. Exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Top of the inhale, use your thumb to close the right nostril. Exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Use your ring finger to close off. Exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Use your thumb. We'll just go a few minutes with this, just kind of, when again, the key is when you reach the top of the inhale, you're going to close off that particular nostril. So we'll just proceed for a few moments and just kind of focus, be aware of that cleansing through your energy channels throughout the nadis, which run along your spine from your pelvic area all the way up to your crown or top of your head. And you can return to your natural breath now. And for our meditation moment, we're into the Sacha cleaning, kind of spring cleaning here. Meditation's another one. There's a nice quote. It says, "In meditating, we open the windows of the mind to clear consciousness." We open the windows of the mind to clear consciousness. And to kind of back that up, Eckhart Tolle, he actually calls meditation the space of awareness. He believes that while we're meditating, we shift our mind from the horizontal plane of past and future to the vertical plane of here and now. And ultimately and by doing that, we ultimately bring clarity to ourselves, of ourselves. So in this meditation this morning, use another mudra. This one's called a Buddhi mudra. And this helps to improve mental clarity by decluttering the mind. And to do a Buddhi mudra, we bring our hand up and bring the pinky and the thumb together. These 3 fingers extended. So it also, besides declutters the mind, it enhances our connection to our intuition. So we get to know the clarity and awareness of our own self. So let's just take a few moments for meditation, and I'll meet you on the mat. You may open your eyes now and we'll begin our asana practice. So again, with your nice comfortable seat, with your spine nice and long and tall, we're going to just start with a few head nods and turns, just to kind of gently wake up the back of our neck. So on our exhale, we're going to lower our head down toward the mat, or our eyes rather, down toward the mat. And then on the inhale, lift our eyes up toward the sky, just above the tree line. And then exhale, send our eyes back down to the mat. And then inhale, lift our eyes up to the skyline, kind of connecting with our drishti points, which are exhale, bring your head back down. Drishti points are your feet or looking down toward the ground. And inhale, lift our eyes up and out. That's another drishti point. And then bring your head back to center. We'll turn our head slightly to the left, looking to the side. Then inhale back to center. And then exhale, or actually inhale to the right. Exhale back to center. And you know by now that you follow whichever works more comfortably for you. Inhale to the left. Exhale to center. Inhale to the right. Gazing straight out as a drishti point. And then exhale back to center. And then we'll do some circles with our nose. And let's make these pretty big. So we're going to incorporate all the looking down and then looking to the left and then looking up to the tree line and looking over to the right and then looking down to our feet again. Just make some nice big circles with our nose. Be aware of the back of your neck, not getting too angled when you're looking up and over to the sides. And when you come back down to your feet, pause for a moment and then start the other direction. Kind of taking in all the sights of our room, from the walls to the floor, out the windows, to the ceiling, and then back to center. And for our sun breaths, we're going to do a little bit of a riff on this morning. So if you bring your fingertips to the sides, we're going to inhale, lifting our hands up over our head, palms come together. And then we're going to exhale, bringing our palms down of our heart center. And then we're going to inhale, opening up our palms, bringing our hands back as far as what's comfortable. They could be in line with your shoulders or maybe even a little further, just opening up our chest. And then bringing them back to center. And then inhale, lift them back up to the sky. And then exhale, bring them down. We'll do that a few more times. So inhale, lifting our hands up over our head, palms come together. Exhale, bringing them down to heart center. Inhale, opening up our hands, opening up our chest. Exhale, bring them back together. Inhale, bring them back up over our head. And then exhale, bring them down. Nice and controlled movements. And one last time, inhale up. Big inhale. Big exhale, hands come together, then down to heart center. Big inhale, opening up our hands, opening up our chest. Exhale, bringing them back together. Inhale, lifting them over our head. Big inhale, and then exhale. Let them slowly come back down to the mat. We're going to extend our right leg out in front of us. And our left foot's going to be along the side of our inner thigh of our right leg. So we're actually creating a figure 4. Then we're going to take our right hand, bring it over to our left knee, sending our left fingertips behind our hip and twist our torso to the left. Take 3 deep breaths here. And then come back to center. We'll switch legs. So we're going to extend our left leg out in front of us. Bring our right foot to the left inner thigh, creating that figure 4. Bring our left hand to our right knee, right fingertips come behind our hips, turning our torso to the right. And another 3 breaths. And then turn back to center. We're going to roll down on our backs now. So you could roll down one of 3 ways, either with your knees bent, or your knees extended, or with your hands behind your knees and just roll back down. So your preference. I've been kind of enjoying legs extended, 1 vertebrae at a time, touching down. And then once you land, you extend your hands over your head and stretch your hands up toward the sky and your heels down toward the bottom of the mat. Nice big stretch. And then we'll bring our knees together, bring them to our chest, give them a nice hug. Maybe just rock our back just a little bit, loosen up our lower back. And then extend our feet down to the bottom of the mat, coming into reclined mountain pose. I'm going to slide the sole of our right foot up the inner part of our left leg. Again, we're going to make that figure 4. And then take your right ankle, place it on top of your left leg, right above the knee. We'll do reclined pigeon pose. So you can stay here if that's comfortable for you, or you could slide your left foot up so that it's now nice and planted on the mat, lifting your right leg up. And if this is comfortable, this is great. You may want to just, with your right hand, guide your right knee a little bit more toward the bottom of the mat so it's pointing more perpendicular to the mat, the edge of the mat. And if you'd like to continue, you can lift your left leg up, interlace your fingers behind your left thigh, and then guide your left leg toward your chest. Both feet are flexed, toes pointing up to the sky. And you can also do a version without your hands interlaced behind your thigh, where you're pulling your left knee toward your chest and you're pushing your right knee on its own without your hands toward the bottom of the mat, just kind of having a resistance of each. And then we'll take both knees and bring them to our chest, nice, interlace our fingers around our knees and give them a nice hug. And then while you're in this fetal pose, we're gonna just take our whole body and turn it over to the right side. So you're gonna just kind of roll over to your right side in that fetal position. We're gonna extend our arms out at shoulder height. Bring our palms together, and then take our left hand and we'll sweep it overhead, make a 180-degree arch like a rainbow, having your left hand land behind you, palm facing up. Nice twist, and then we're going to bring that left hand back. With that arch, that rainbow arch, bring it all the way back so that it lands on our right palm. We'll do that again. So inhale, lifting our left hand, sweeping it across the sky. You can follow your hand with your eyes all the way over to the left. And then once it's landed, you can inhale, lifting it back up, Make a nice sweep again. And all the way over so it lands on our right palm. And one last time, we'll sweep it up and over, watching it with our eyes, letting it softly land behind us, palm facing up. And then inhale, bring it all the way back over again. And have it land on our right palm. And then we're going to turn, roll over on our back. And then extend our feet all the way down to the bottom of the mat, recline mountain pose. And we'll do that again on the other side. So we're taking our left foot, sliding it up our inner right leg till we get to that figure 4 position. And this is part of recline pigeon. So you can stay here, or you can move your ankle to your right leg, right above the right knee. And then slide your right foot up so that it lands on the mat. And you could stay here again, maybe just guide your left knee toward the bottom of the mat so it's more perpendicular with the mat, with your other leg. And then you can lift your right leg up, interlace your hands behind your right thigh, flex both toes, pointing them up to the sky, guiding your right leg toward your chest. And you can even do the option of letting go with your hands and guiding your right leg toward your chest while you're pushing your left knee toward the bottom of the mat. And then we'll release that, bring our knees to our chest, interlacing our hands, give them a nice hug. And then while we're in that position, that knees to chest with our hands, we're gonna just roll over to our left side. Extend our arms out at shoulder height. And then we'll do our rainbow sweeps using our right hand. So inhale, sweeping our right hand up and over. And if it's comfortable to follow your hand with your eyes, I would encourage you to do that. That's your drishti, another drishti point, is to follow your hand. And then inhale, lifting it back up again, all the way over until it lands on your left palm. And then sweep, inhale up again. Exhale, coming down. Inhale back up. And exhale, coming down. And one last time, inhale, coming up. And exhale, coming down. And one last time, inhale, come up. And exhale, come back down. You're going to roll back onto your back and give your knees a hug against your chest. And then bring your hands underneath your knees. And maybe you opted for this to come down the mat, but this is what we're going to do on the way up. So we're just going to rock and roll. So we're massaging all along our spine. Those Nodi channels give our spine a nice massage. And then when you're ready, you can come all the way up to the seated position. And once you're in a seated position, you cross your legs, reach over and come onto your hands and knees. And we'll do some cows. But first, let's get into our tabletop position. Our fingers are spread nice and wide, index finger pointing up to the top of the mat. Wrists are right below your shoulders, knees right below your hips, navel's tucked to your spine, creating a nice flat back. And then we're going to exhale, rounding our back, sending our crown of our head and tailbone down. Then inhale, lifting our head and tailbone up for cow. Exhale, round the back, sending our head and tailbone down for cat. Inhale, head up, tailbone up for cow. And then creating a nice synchronized movement with your breath. And just continue here for a few moments. Big inhales, big exhales. And then when you're ready, come back to tabletop for your nice flat back. And we're going to do a variation on bird dog. We're going to extend our right leg down to the bottom of the mat. So we're on the balls of our feet and pushing our heel down to the bottom of the mat. So you feel that stretch in the back of your calf. And then we're going to bring our knee up toward our right elbow and then lift our leg up and then bring it back down to the mat. We're going to try to maintain equal weight distribution in our hands while we do that. So let's try it on the other side. So extend our left foot back. So we're on the ball of our foot and pushing the heel toward the bottom of the mat. Feel that in the calf, feel that in your quad, the front of your thigh. And then we're going to bring the left knee up toward the left elbow and then lift the left knee up toward the sky. And again, now focus on equal weight distribution while you're doing that. And then bring it back down. And we'll do that once again on each side. So the right foot goes back, landing on the ball of the foot, pushing the heel to the back of the mat. And then bring our right knee up to our right elbow. And then lifting our right leg up and focusing on trying to have equal distribution of weight in our hands. And then bring our right leg back down. And then with our left foot, push it down to the bottom of the mat, pushing our heel down to the bottom of the mat. And then lifting our knee toward our elbow, left elbow. And then lifting our knee up toward the sky. And then back down to the mat. Then we're going to send our hips down to our ankles, extending our arms forward for child's pose. And you can choose to have your knees under your chest, or if you'd like to have them out to the edges of the mat for a wide-legged child's pose, your choice. We'll just stretch out our spine here for a moment. And then back up to tabletop. Tuck our toes under, walk our hands back, coming up to the balls of our feet. And then pushing down, coming up to mountain pose. And we'll just take a moment to do mountain pose and the essentials of good posture. So our big toes are facing toward a straight line in our mat. We're going to lift our toes up and spread them apart as much as we can, and then bring them back down, lifting our heels up off the mat, and then bring them back down. Really feel that connection to your mat, to the earth, feeling grounded. Our legs are nice and straight and strong. There's a gentle bend in our knees. Navel's tucked to the spine, elongating our spine in the back of our neck. Shoulders are relaxed and rolled back. Chin is tucked ever so slightly toward our chest. Crown of our head reaches up to the sky. We're going to sweep our hands up overhead. Big inhale, and then exhale. We're going to bring our hands down to the mat, bending our knees as we go. And just check in here for a moment. See how we're feeling this morning. See if there's any tension we can send a nourishing breath to. And then inhale, lift our hands up to our shins, flat back, gaze is down for half forward fold. And then drop our crown of our head down toward the mat and just let gravity take over for a moment. And then sweep our hands all the way up overhead, coming up onto our tippy toes. And we'll do a palm tree this morning. It's getting warmer. Palm trees are starting to, they're always happy to sway in the breeze. And just kind of send your movements, nice gentle flow. And then bring your heels down and bring your hands back down to the mat, bending your knees as you go. Inhale, sweep your hands up to your shins, half forward fold, nice flat back, gaze is down. And then the crown of your head goes down toward the mat. And sweep your hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together. And then drop your right palm down to your right thigh and slide your hand down toward your knee for a supported side stretch. And then bring that back up. And drop your left hand down to your left thigh. Slide that hand down toward your knee. And then back up again. One more time each side. Right hand comes down. Slide it down toward your knee. And then come back up. Left hand comes down. Slide that down toward your knee. And then left hand comes back up. We'll bring both hands back down to the mat, bending our knees as we go. Inhale, bring our hands to our shins, nice flat back. Drop the crown of our head down toward the mat. Big exhale. And then big inhale, sweeping our hands all the way up overhead again. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. We'll do a few leg kicks. So with your feet about hip width apart, we're going to lift our right leg up and just kick our toe out in front of us 3 times. Oops. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to take our right hand, place it on our right knee, and guide that right knee over to the right side. And then bring that down. We'll do that on the other side. So feet about hip width apart. It helps me to have my hands in Anjali Mudra at my heart. Lift our left leg up. I'm going to kick 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And then we'll take our left hand to our left knee and guide our left knee over to the left side. And then bring that back down. Sweep our hands up overhead again. Big inhale, and then exhale, bringing our hands back down, bending our knees as we go. Inhale, hands to your shins, half forward fold. Crown of your head goes down toward the mat. Big exhale. Then inhale, sweeping our hands all the way up overhead again. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. And palms come to the back of our hips for supported back bend. Feet are hip width apart. Fingertips pointing down, palms against our hips. Shoulders are relaxed and rolled back. Tuck our chin toward our chest and just let our shoulders drop back to that spot where it's comfortable and you can still have nice even flows of your breath. And then inhale, come back up. How's everyone doing? Okay, we're going to sweep our hands up overhead again. Exhale, bring them back down to the mat. Forward fold. Then inhale, half forward fold, flat back. And then send the crown of our head down, and we're going to send our hands down to the mat and send our feet to the back of the mat, coming into plank pose. Wrists are right below your shoulders, navel's tucked to the spine, no saggy tummies, please. Heels are going toward, pushing toward the bottom of the mat. And we're going to slowly come down, either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, keeping our elbows tucked to our side. And then gently lift our chin, then our chest, then gently push into our hands, coming up into cobra. Then tuck our toes under and lift our hips up to downward dog. And we'll pedal out here for a moment. Fingers are spread wide apart. Index finger pointing to the top of the mat. Arms are nice and straight. Your chest is reaching toward your thighs, sending up your hips higher. And then we're going to take our left knee and bring it to our elbow, pushing with our right toes off. And then back to downward dog, pedal out. And then inhale, lift our left knee, bring it to our left elbow, pushing off with our right toes. And then back again. And then this time we're going to have our left foot come between our hands. So inhale, lift your left knee and send your left foot up so it lands between your hands, or guide it between your hands as I do. Coming into runner's lunge. We're going to bring our right hand down to the mat and sweep our left hand all the way up overhead, following our left fingertips with our gaze. Right heels pushing to the back of the mat, activating our legs, and then send our left hand back down to the mat. We'll bring our right knee down to the mat and the top of our right foot down to the mat. We'll do some half monkeys. In this one, we're going to walk our hands back, sending our legs straight with a soft bend in your knee. Always keep that in mind. And then flexing our toes up to the sky. And then walk our hands back, bringing our knee so it's almost in line with our big toe, not extending beyond it, and opening up our chest and sending our head up. So nice stretch. And then walk our hands back, straightening out our left leg, keeping that gentle bend in the knee, bringing our toes up and off the mat, flexing them up toward the sky. And then back, walk our hands back, knee comes right almost to the toe, and then we send our chest and our chin up, opening up our chest. And then come back, we're going to tuck our right toe under, coming back into runner's lunge. And then we're going to go into either high lunge or warrior one. So if high lunge is a little wobbly for you, you can pivot your back foot and have your heel come down to the mat. And then we're going to push off, pushing down into our left foot. We're going to come up, come up into high lunge or warrior one, lifting our arms up toward the sky, creating a little bit of an arch in our back, keeping our knee bent over our ankle. And then we're going to bring our hands all the way back down to the mat. We're going to walk our hands over to the right and keep walking until you come down to your right foot. And we're going to bend down in our right leg and send our left leg straight with the toes pointed up to the sky. So it's a one-legged squat. And then come back, walk our hands back to the middle. Our toes are pointing toward the corners, heels are tucked in. We're going to bend our knees, bring our hands to our waist, and then come up to a vertical wide-legged stance. We send our arms up into a star shape. And with this, just try to check in to see if your wrists are right above your ankles or your ankles are right below your wrists. So kind of extend your wide-legged stance as far as you can and your arms as far as you can. And then we're going to lower our arms to shoulder height, pivot our feet, coming into warrior two. So we have a nice wide warrior two. Knees right above your ankle, so you can see your big toe, back edge of your back foot. It's nice and snug. And springtime, we're trying to keep a little light, so don't get too anchored down, too grounded, or you get bogged down in the mud. And then we're going to straighten out our left leg while we raise our left arm, come into reverse warrior. And then bring our left hand down, all the way down to the mat. Bring your right hand down to the mat. Pivot on your back foot, coming into runner's lunge. And then we're going to bring our right foot up to meet our left so that we're in forward fold. And then sweep our hands all the way up overhead. Hands come together, hands come to heart center. And we're going to come into tree pose. So I'm going to start with my left leg. Decide which one you want to do on this round. And like we did earlier, just kind of lift your other leg up, in my case, the right leg. And then for tree pose, you can either do the toe on the mat, ankle on, or heel on your ankle, or if you'd like to bring your sole of your right foot to the middle of your left calf, or you can bring it all the way up to the top. I have to find my dristies. Find your stillness here. And if you'd like a little additional challenge, you can bring your, my challenge is just staying upright today. Bring your right ankle above your left knee, like a figure four, and then start to lower your hips toward your ankles, coming into a squat. So it's a sitting tree. And there we go. And then we'll do that all on the other side. So sweeping our hands up overhead. Exhale, bring them back down to the mat. Inhale, half forward fold, hands to the shins. And then exhale, hands to the mat. Extend your feet to the back of the mat, coming into plank pose. And gently lower down, either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, keeping your elbows tucked to the side. Inhale, lifting your chin and chest, and gently pushing into your hands, coming up into cobra. Then tuck your toes under, lifting your hips up to downward dog. And pedal out here for a moment. And then inhale, lifting your right knee, bringing it to your right elbow, pushing off with your left toes. And then back to downward dog. Pedal out. And then lift your right knee again, bringing it to the right elbow. And then back to downward dog. And pedal out. And now on the third one, we're going to bring our right foot between our right hands. So we're going to inhale, lift our right knee up, guide it between our hands. Bring our left hand down to the mat. Sweep our right hand up to the sky with a twist. And then bring the right hand back down. Bring our left knee down to the mat. Top of the left foot comes down to the mat. We're going to walk our fingertips back, straightening out our right leg. Again, keeping that bend in the knee. Flexing our toes, sending them up to the sky. And then walk our hands up, bringing our knee right over our big toe. And then opening up our chest, sending our gaze up and out. And then walk our hands again, straightening out the leg, flexing the toes up to the sky. And walk our hands back. Sending our knee over our toe, lifting our chest and head up. And one last time. Stretching out our leg, flexing our toes, and then bringing our hands back up to the front. Knee over toe, chest's open, gaze is up and out. And then we're going to come back into runner's lunge. So tuck your left toes under And again, we're going to either do high lunge or warrior one. So warrior one is you pivot your back foot down, the heel. Either one, you're going to push down to your front foot, coming up, lifting your arms up to the sky. Having a little bit of a nice arch in your back. And then bring our hands back down to the mat. We're going to walk our hands to the left along the side. Now flip around. So we're going to keep walking our hands until we get to our left foot. And then bend our left knee down. Extending our right leg straight down the mat and flexing our toes up to the sky, coming into a one-legged squat. And then we'll walk our hands further down to the middle. Toes are pointing to the corners of the mat, heels are tucked in. Bend your knees and then bring your hands to your hips, or to your waist rather, and then come up vertically into a wide-legged stance. We're going to sweep our arms open to a star and really extend our feet and our arms as far as they can reach. And then bring our arms down to shoulder height. Pivot our feet to the right, coming into warrior two. Knee is over the ankle. Back foot's nice and snug in the mat. Gaze is to our right fingertips. And then we're going to straighten out our right leg, sending our right arm up to the sky for reverse warrior. And then bring our right hand all the way down to the mat. Both right and left hands come down to the mat. We pivot into runner's lunge. And then we're going to bring our left foot up to meet the right foot, coming into forward fold. And sweep our hands up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. And we'll do tree pose using the opposite foot. So for me, I'm going to lift my left leg up and then make sure I have stability here. And then bring it down so the toes touch the mat. The heel touches my ankle. And then I'll slide it up to the shin. And then up to the thigh. And just find that stillness. And if you'd like an additional challenge, you can bring that ankle over the thigh, right above the knee, and slowly lower your hips into a sitting position or sitting tree. And then back up. Well done, everyone. Then bring your pinky toes to the edges of the mat. Heels are tucked in. Hands at heart center. We'll lower our torso down toward the mat. Our arms come to the inner part of our knees for a wide-legged squat. And then you can bring your hands down toward the mat for a little bit more stretch. And then we'll bring our sit bones down to the mat. And we'll come into staff position. So you can make little fists with your hands, push down into the mat, lift up your sit bones, and then bring them back down to really feel connected to the mat. Legs are nice and straight. We're going to do a few half boats. So bend your knees, and so your feet are flat on the mat. Again, really feel that connection of your sit bones into the mat. And tucking your hands behind your knees, we're going to lift our feet off the mat, keeping that back nice and straight and strong, that spine nice and straight and strong. And we're going to tap our right toe down, and then our left toe down, and then both toes down. Again, right toe, then left toe, then both toes. And if you want, you can alternate by letting go, right toe, left toe, both toes, and bring your hands back for right toe, left toe, right toe. Let go, right toe, left toe, both toes. Or if you want, you can just leave your hands out there, your choice. Left toe, both toes, right toe, left toe, both toes, right toe, left toe, both toes, right toe, left toe, both toes. And one last time, right toe, left toe, both toes, bringing them down to the mat. And then we're going to come into goddess pose or reclined goddess pose. And if you have a towel by any chance, you can wrap it around the tops of your feet, bringing the soles of your feet together. Place the towel around the top of your feet and tuck the ends underneath your ankles. Something about how that feels, just really, I love it. So, and then roll down. So the idea is we're gonna have our knees open to each side of the mat. Soles of our feet are together. And your hands can be either in goal pose or relaxing behind your head. Create a nice little pillow with your fingers. Or have your hands anywhere that's comfortable. We'll just take a few deep breaths here. And then guide your knees back together again. And then extend your feet down to the bottom of the mat. Give your body a nice big stretch. And then prepare for Shavasana. Send your heels to the corners of the mat. Let your toes flop open. And then inhale, and then deeply exhale, relaxing your body into the mat. Arms come out at an angle with the palms facing up. Shoulders are relaxed. And with each exhale, try to sink deeper into the mat. This morning's poem is by Mary Oliver. It's titled Spring. And here is the serpent again, dragging himself out from his nest of darkness, his cave under the black rocks, his winter death. He slides over the pine needles. He loops around the bunches of rising grass, looking for the sun. Well, who doesn't want the sun after the long winter? I step aside. He feels the air with his soft tongue. Around the bones of his body, he moves like oil. Downhill he goes toward the black mirrors of the pond. Last night, it was still so cold. I woke and went out to stand in the yard. and there was no moon. So I just stood there inside the jaw of nothing. An owl cried in the distance, and I thought of Jesus, how he crouched in the dark for 2 nights, then floated back above the horizon.